So the Miami Heat have finally made a trade. Dwayne Dedmon is heading to the San Antonio Spurs along with a 2028 second round pick for cash considerations. It's just a little salary dump for the Heat, and it's going to let them get some more flexibility for another potential trade before the trade deadline, which is in less than 48 hours, which is what I'm hoping is the Heat's plan because there better be another trade before the deadline. And there has to be at least some type of move. The simplest thing they can do is move Orlando Robinson's two-way contract into a standard contract because we're at 13 players on the roster and you need to have 14. But this season has just been a total mess for Dwayne Dedmon. We went into the year knowing that Bam would be the center and Bam would be the starter, and he's been a stud this season. We thought that Yurt would be the backup, but he got injured in camp and he's been out for a while. He's supposed to be back after the All-Star break, which is very soon. But we thought that Dedmon would be at least a pretty good backup center. He was last year. He was suitable for us, but he was just a whole nother level of bad. And that's when we saw Orlando Robinson. He turned out to be pretty nice, at least. So that's why I'm not surprised that they will move. Wouldn't be surprised if they moved his two-way contract into a standard contract, but also wouldn't be shocked if they didn't. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Yurtseven coming back and having Orlando Robinson also playing pretty well. Maybe they run a 3 center rotation, but it was pretty clear that for Dwayne Dedmon, after, especially with his altercation with Coach Spo and then throwing the massage gun on the court, he gets ejected, suspended for a game, and they started playing Udonis Haslem over him, and that's when you knew it was bad for him and what his position on the team really was. So at that point, we kind of knew he was just good as gone. So, we have to obviously attach that second round pick because the Spurs aren't going to take it for nothing. And yeah, you lose Dwayne Dedmon, like I said, now 13 players on the roster. And I thought that we'd be in, a little bit of an issue because Yurtseven, like I said, is back after the All-Star break, which is in a couple weeks, and Orlando Robinson fractured his finger. But apparently he's back on track even sooner than we thought he would be back. He's going to try to play tomorrow versus the Pacers, which you love to see. But now for the second part of the video, which is just going over some other trades that I'm hoping the Heat can at least try to put together. I just got a notification from Woj saying that the Nets are not trading Kevin Durant. Teams reached out to them, and KD actually was interested in a deal to the Suns last offseason when he first requested a trade in the summer. I'm glad that didn't happen. But obviously now all the attention is going to Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson. I threw Nikola Jovic on that list too because he could possibly get moved in the type of deal where we get a better player than what we're actually trading away. We also have 2 first-round picks. I don't know what years those are for. I forgot. But I also wrote down 4 names, or actually 5 names. I just thought of another that the Heat have been linked to at least. We've seen the rumors about it. OG Anunoby, looking like more than likely he gets traded. Same thing with Fred VanVleet, but it's looking unlikely that the Heat are going to be getting him. He's probably going to go to a team like the Suns or something. Or potentially the Nets if they can find out how to do that. But either way, I would love to get a guy like OG Anunoby for this team. It may require trading both of those first-round picks, which is where the deal might get broken up a bit, unless we can convince the Raptors to trade only receive 1 first-round pick. But that's kind of looking unlikely. But OG would be such a great fit on this team. I know we already have a small 4 with Caleb Martin. You get a little bit bigger with OG Anunoby. And with the defense on that team and just his ability to fit in, I think, alongside Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. I know the shooting would be a bit mid, especially with the next guy I have on the list, which is John Collins. There would be some type of issues, but, you have Hero at the 2 and, potentially 48 hours plus from now, Gabe Vincent could be the starting point guard on this team. We'll see what happens with that, though. Like I said, the next guy on the list, which is John Collins, we've been linked to John Collins for a while now. I'm not sure what it would take to get him. I feel like Duncan Robinson would look pretty good in a Hawks jersey. I think that he would most likely be part of that deal. Lowry probably wouldn't. Something tells me that Kyle Lowry will not get traded. I mean, we saw it when the Heat and the Lakers were both trying to trade for him. I think at the 2021 deadline, nobody could get it done because the Raptors wanted either Hero from us or the Lakers. They wanted Taylor Horton Tucker from the Lakers. They look pretty stupid for not accepting that trade now. Um, they ended up trading him for Patrick Beverly, but we obviously ended up getting him in that offseason that following summer. And now we're trying to trade him away. But I think a team that we could potentially look towards for Kyle Lowry is the Clippers. They could be in searching for a point guard. One trade I saw was where we traded away Kyle Lowry and getting back Marcus Morris and Luke Kennard, which at first I'm like, I mean, those are two all right players for a pretty good player. But now that I think about it, Lowry's a guy that I'm not gonna say plays better off the bench, but the guy coming off the bench plays better than him in the starting lineup. And obviously by that I mean Gabe Vincent. So if you're trading a bench player in Kyle Lowry for two bench players in Luke Kennard and Marcus Morris, one guy being Kennard who can really shoot the ball lights out, for a team that kind of needs shooting, that wouldn't be too bad of a trade. I think it would be a trade that the Clippers would be worth doing, although it is kind of, they're starting power forward in Marcus Morris and then another quality guy off the bench for them in Luke Kennard. I think it's kind of more of a deal in the Heat's favor. That is kind of an unlikely trade, though. The next guy on the list I have is PJ Washington, who the Miami Heat once again have been linked to after last trade deadline. I thought that a trade was bound for him. The Heat made a trade with the Thunder to give them KZ Okpala and like a second-round pick for cash, which is basically what this is. And after that, I think we all thought a trade was coming for something. Pat's about to cook. His alarm just went off. Nothing. The Heat didn't make a single trade at last year's deadline. I'm hoping that it's different this year. Last year, the Heat were definitely closer than I feel like we're going to be this year. I think at this point last year, we were probably the 1 or 2 seed in the East. But this year, obviously, the East is much tougher. I think the Heat are 6th or 5th as of right now. You obviously need another piece on this team to make an extra push to get to the final stage of the playoffs. The final two guys I have on this list, Terry Rozier, which is a potential trade candidate because the Heat did get a trade exception from the Spurs, which basically kind of not matches what he's making. But Rozier is making around $20 million a year, $22 million. So it could kind of match some of the contracts if the Heat try to put a trade together with them. And the last guy on this list is Russell Westbrook. This is a guy that the Heat we've already seen kind of rumors. If the Lakers can get a trade together with the Jazz, the Heat wouldn't even have to be involved in that. They just watch it go down. The Lakers trade, I don't know, Russell Westbrook and like a first-round pick, 2027 first-round pick for Mike Conley and, I don't know, like Mike Conley and whoever it is. Bottom line is that Russell Westbrook gets to the Jazz. Then they agree on a buyout, and the Heat are just waiting for him. You clear up that cap space. Well, now we're still not sitting at, the most cap space in the league right now, but it would probably be enough to at least have Westbrook to get to the Heat. And I think that he would be a quality bench piece. You would have Gabe Vincent starting, or maybe it's Lowry, whatever it is. You can have a guy like Russell Westbrook to come off the bench with no cost of trading him, or trading for him at least, which would be something that I'd be interested in. So we'll see what happens with that, though. The Heat finally make a trade. Dwayne Dedmon finally off the team. I'm hoping I'm sitting here either tomorrow or Thursday. Thursday, I'll probably have some sort of deadline review because I'm sure there's going to be a ton of trades going down on that day. Maybe tomorrow we'll see some other stuff, or maybe even later tonight. We'll see what happens, though. That'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.